Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing something a little different, something I haven't done before, and that is reacting to your comments. So I've taken my 4 most popular videos and I've gathered some comments from them, and now I'm going to read them. Some of them are comments I get a lot, so it's easier for me to just, make a video about them and reply to them here rather than responding to each individual person. So here we go. Got my laptop right here, and we are starting off with my most popular video, which at the moment is lifetime iPhone user switches to Android, Huawei Mate 20 Pro unboxing. So this video blew up, blew up compared to my other videos, because I made this video pretty much right when this phone came out, so it was a hot search result, I guess. A lot of the comments are people just saying, I made the same switch as you did, and I'm loving it, it's great, stuff like that. Lifetime equals 4 years. I think what this guy is saying is in the title I said lifetime iPhone user, and I had only had an iPhone for 4 years when I made this video. Now in the video I did mention that I've used other Apple products, like I first had my iPod when I was like 10, then I got an iPad mini, then an iPhone, then I have this MacBook that I do pretty much all my editing on. So overall it's been a lot longer than 4 years, but I get the point. It's also just because I'm not that old, so I haven't really had very many phones. Like I got this iPhone when it came out when I was 14, and that was like my first phone. So it is technically until the Huawei phone, which I still use by the way, the iPhone's technically the only other phone I've had, unless you count the BlackBerry that I had before the iPhone, but we don't talk about that. So I get comments like this more frequently than you might think. Just people saying like, you deserve more subscribers, or I'm surprised you only have X amount of subscribers, which is great. It's a very nice thing for people to say, and I appreciate it. My response would just be, if you truly do think that I should have more subscribers, then share my videos with your friends or people who you think might be interested in them, and that's how I can sort of grow my channel and have a bigger audience. So if you really do like these videos, then please share them with other people, because that's the best way to help people find them. What's the name of the song at the beginning? So this is another comment that I get kind of frequently. Now, I used to use Epidemic Sound for all my YouTube music. Now I switched to Artlist because the licensing I get from Artlist allows me to use the music for things other than just YouTube, where Epidemic Sound, I was only licensed on YouTube, and I couldn't just use their music for a commercial project without paying for individual license. So the reason I don't send a link to the song or something is because, well, one, I use different songs for each one of my videos and I don't exactly keep track of them. 2, if you're really that interested, just use Shazam or ask Siri, hey, what's this song, and it'll probably come up. But yeah, just in the future, if you're ever wondering what a song is, just know that it came from Artlist, or if it's one of my older videos, it came from Epidemic Sound, and it's probably on that website somewhere. Also know that you can't just use these songs, you have to license them from these companies. Otherwise, you'll probably get a takedown on your videos or a copyright claim, so just be aware of that. Hi there, what software do you use for editing? Once again, something else I get kind of frequently. I use the Adobe Suite for all of my editing, so I use Premiere Pro almost exclusively for these YouTube videos. Then I use After Effects if I'm doing anything a little more advanced. Then for photos, I use Lightroom and Photoshop, and occasionally I get into InDesign, Illustrator, and Adobe Audition, but not really. How do you charge your Huawei Mate 20 Pro? 0 to 100% or the 20 to 85% rule? So this is based on the whole thing of people saying charging your phone is bad for your phone's battery life, which is true. The more you charge your phone, and if you charge it to 100% all the time, it does wear out the battery faster, but not that noticeably. I'm not gonna go through the effort to wait until I'm right at 20% and charge up from there to 85, and then I gotta watch it the whole time. I don't care that much. It's not going to be that big of a difference, especially since the Mate 20 Pro has a massive battery. So even though the battery life will degrade over time, it's not going to be that big of a difference. At least in my opinion, it's not worth hovering over your phone every time you want to charge it, just to make sure that you don't go all the way to 100%. Personally, I don't really care. Okay, moving on to my great shame on this YouTube channel, which is how to make a sick trap edit. Man, my YouTube video quality has definitely improved. So the reason I say this is my great shame or whatever is because this video was never meant to be this popular. This is the first video that I ever made that got over 10,000 views, even over 1,000 views, and it didn't happen right away. It took like a couple months, and then it just like blew up to, it's at like almost 15,000 views now. And a lot of the comments are like, wow, this edit sucks, it's not very good. And yeah, that was that was kind of the point. The video was never meant to be like a legitimate tutorial. It was literally just sort of like this inside joke with some guys I was going to high school with. They were watching these Black Ops edits, and I was like, they were all impressed, and I was like, oh, that's not that cool, I can do that. Watch me make fun of it for 10 minutes. And that's all that video was. It was never meant to get all this traction. So yeah, keep that in mind. Also, I don't recommend you watching this video. Just saying. Unless you just want to see how much my videos have improved since like a year and a half ago. Oh geez, this was uploaded near the end of 2017. I've been making these videos for too long, guys. Not really a trap edit, but close enough for using Premiere Pro. Would highly recommend using After Effects. Yeah, if I wanted to do this legitimately, and I did make a second video, like a sequel to this, where I did kind of legitimately make a trap edit, like, and tried to do an actual tutorial, because people were commenting like, this is dumb, like this isn't a real tutorial. So I was like, hey, why don't I actually make one? And for that video, I did use After Effects for that edit, and it turned out better. It's still not, you know, it's not amazing or anything, but it's a Call of Duty edit, I mean. And then I have this thread here, which is just comments of people basically arguing about how terrible my edit is, and they're all correct. That's all I have for that one. Okay, moving on to my 6D Mark II video, which is quite possibly my video with the most dislikes on it. Right now it's sitting at 153 likes to 99 dislikes. I can think of a few reasons. The video was kind of clickbaity. It also came across, at least if you just, you know, saw the title and watched the first 30 seconds, like I was hating on the 6D Mark II, which if you watch the video, you would know that I'm not. So I would also imagine a lot of Canon fanboys would dislike this video. But even though the video is titled "Don't Buy This Camera," even though I did, I actually really like this camera. I'm still using it to this day. That's what this is being recorded on right now. My overall position on the camera was, if you have an 80D, there's not a whole lot of point in upgrading unless you really need full frame, because they're basically the same. The 80D is a good camera, which is what I had, and then I upgraded to the 6D Mark II, which is also a great camera. But if you already have an 80D, it's a lot of trouble to go through and a lot of extra money to spend to get essentially the same results. Photography school said you needed a full frame camera. So the whole reason I bought this camera was because I'm going to school for photography, and they basically said, well, if you want to take this seriously, you need to use a full frame camera. And I didn't really explain any further than that. And a lot of people have very good points, because you don't need a full frame camera to take good photos. You don't need a really expensive DSLR. If you're a really good photographer, you can take good photos on anything. But the reason my school, to defend them a little bit, said that I needed a full frame DSLR is because we're doing massive prints and looking at them very in detail. And you can't achieve that kind of quality in a large print without professional equipment. So you need a sharper lens and a full frame sensor to be able to create these massive prints where you're going to look at them very up close and make sure they're perfectly in focus and all the colors are accurate. So that is why I specifically needed a full frame camera, but you don't necessarily need a full frame camera at all. Canon makes some great little mirrorless cameras, and the Rebel lineup. Those cameras are great starter kit, and I'm sure other camera companies have similar cameras like that around the few $100 range. I'm just more familiar with Canon. But one of my favorite photography quotes is, "The best camera is the one you have with you when it counts." So there was also a lot of people that had this kind of attitude: a schoolboy must be happy with any camera, especially full frame Canon. So there's a lot of people like, you know, like back in my day, we used film cameras, and you're lucky to have a full frame camera, like don't be whining about it. And firstly, I'm very happy with this camera. There wasn't really any point in the video where I was like, oh man, I only have a 6D Mark II, this camera stinks. That never happened, but these comments also imply that, I don't know, I was just handed this camera or something and I'm being ungrateful about it, which is not the case. I saved up my own money that I worked hard for in order to buy this camera. I didn't just get it handed to me. So the comments about, wow, you should be grateful to have an opportunity or to be this lucky to have this camera, it's not luck. I bought it. I got a job and I got money from my job and then I bought the camera. You need a full frame camera. Takes out Pentax K1000. So again, this is like the same attitude of, oh, you can shoot with anything, which is totally valid. You can shoot with whatever camera you have, use that. It's a camera, okay? All you need is a camera that will take a picture and you can create some nice images. You don't need expensive cameras. This is also something I kind of get when I tell people, they're like, oh, what are you in school for? Oh, I'm in school for photography. And it's a common trend with older people that say things like, well, back in my day, we had to go into a dark room and develop our film, and I had to walk uphill both ways to get to class. And the thing with that is I also do film. That's still something that's being taught in my program, at least. So I still do work with film. I've been in a dark room. I know how to process and fix developing paper and use an enlarger. So I just find it kind of funny when people say things like that, because I am still doing those things. Your voice is awesome. Thank you. It's probably the microphone. My mom always said I had a face for radio. It's just like the 80D, except you get full frame. Yeah, no kidding, that's a pretty big difference. So that's something I said in the video, was that it's basically the 80D, except you get full frame. And I stand by that. It's pretty much true. They're very similar cameras, the 60 Mark II and the 80D. It is a big difference to have full frame over cropped, but the thing is, most people don't need a full frame sensor. If you are just taking photos as a hobby for fun, you don't need a full frame sensor. You can get one if you like, if you have the money for it. But to some people, a full frame sensor is just not that important, which is why I said it. Because if you do not care about a full frame sensor, there is no reason to get the 60 Mark II over the 80D. Would have liked it, but it's clickbait. So again, I think this is the reason this video got some dislikes, is the title was kind of clickbaity. And yeah, I agree, probably could have done a little better on that. But at the same time, clickbait implies that I'm misleading with the title, that the content of the video is not about the title. And I stand by that statement that I made, which is, don't buy this camera, even though I did, because although the title was a little misleading, my sort of thesis of the video was, if you have an 80D, do not upgrade to the 60 Mark II, because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, even though I did it. Except that doesn't make a very good title, so. Alright, moving on to my last video. Now this is probably my favorite video on my channel, and that is YouTube lighting setup for beginners. So one of the reasons this is my favorite video is because it's pretty informative. It has a lot of good educational value, I guess you could say. And for whatever reason, like almost a year after I made it, the algorithm decided to just boost it up and show it to a bunch of people, because the first probably 6 months I made this video, it got maybe 100, 200 views. And just in the past few months, it's just past 10,000 now. And it is probably my most liked video ever, with 450 likes and 4 dislikes. Your lighting makes everything look a lot more professional. Thank you, that's the idea. What was that blue light in the background called with the remote? So they are referring to this light over here. This is just a RGB LED light strip from Amazon. They're like 15 bucks. They come with one of these little remotes and you can just change the color to whatever you want. Amazing video, you deserve more subscribers. Again, this is going on what I said earlier. If you really do like my videos and you think I deserve more subscribers, feel free to share them with people that might find them interesting. This video had really helpful information about things to consider while thinking of lighting setup. I've been filming with natural daylight so far, but due to university and work, and nowadays the sun's setting at like 3 p.m., I don't have that big of a time window to film. So looking into getting lights. This is one of the main reasons that I decided to use lights instead of natural lighting. The videos aren't on the internet anymore, but I used to film videos with just natural light, and it was good, but that's the thing. If you want to film a video at 9 p.m. or you want to have a brightly lit video, but it's thunderstorming outside, too bad, you're at the mercy of the weather and the time of day. So yeah, the nice thing about having your own lights is you can film anywhere at any time and you don't have to worry about what the natural lighting is already. I'm trying to figure out lighting for a live stream setup. Wouldn't this hurt your eyes? The answer is no, actually. Maybe I'm just not sensitive to it anymore, or I don't know, but it doesn't bother my eyes. You should be fine. I mean, if I look directly into the light for a few seconds, then it's gonna leave spots in my eyes, but like if I'm just looking at the camera like this, I have one light right here and a less bright light right here, and it doesn't bother me. So as long as you're not staring directly into it, you shouldn't have a problem. What light do you use for your main light with that softbox? So this softbox light that is my key light for all my videos is a cheap Amazon light that came with a backdrop kit that was also very cheap. So it's basically just this little fixture that has a light bulb socket in it and a little area to basically attach the softbox to. And then it has a giant like 150 watt fluorescent light bulb in it that's daylight balanced, and that's all it is. And then my fill light is the Aperture AL F7, which I just did a video about if you want to check that out. It's in the eye in the corner. I think it's that corner. It might be that corner though. This video is very helpful. I should have invested in better lighting instead of going to Walmart to buy a lamp. So I made this mistake too when I first started getting into filming and stuff. I bought like desk lamps basically. One thing that you probably underestimate a lot is how bright a light needs to be in order for the camera to be able to record at a good quality, because you want to be at a low ISO so there's less noise. And just your regular desk light or something like that you just have in your house is usually not bright enough, and it's also not a directional light. You know, something like the light back there, if I was just to use that to light my videos, like just have it nice and close to my face, it wouldn't look good because it's just not bright enough, and it just doesn't really produce a nice quality of light. If you want to light your videos, definitely look into actual video lights, even if they're just crappy ones from Amazon. Look into like an actual video light rather than just going to your local furniture store and getting a lamp, because you will notice a difference. Alright, that is all the comments I have from my 4 most popular videos. I had a fun time making this video, so if there's any questions you have for me at all, it can be camera related or YouTube related or just about me, you can leave them in the comments down below and I might make another one of these. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.